Every day AI drops something that changes our jobs, privacy and money, and most of us miss it. So today we are going to build our very first AI news agent in n8n that will deliver us top 5 AI news stories of the day in plain English that could potentially impact our lives. n8n is a low code or no code workflow automation platform where you can just drag, drop and connect to API to build real systems real fast. So let's dive into it. If you are able to write your workflow in simple plain English, it is very easy to simulate the same in n8n. So first of all, you have to go to n8n.io and then register yourself. Now once you register it, you get 15 days of free usage. After registration, you will be able to see a window something like this. Then you have to go and click on create workflow. And once you click on create workflow, you will be able to see a canvas something like this. So today we are going to build this AI news agent workflow. I have already written all the steps in English. First thing is I have to decide the schedule, that at what time I want to receive this AI news in my email box. Second, from what all sources I want to get those AI news. Third, I will read the news content. And then fourth, I will run the LLM model on it to filter the latest AI news that has potential to impact our lives. And fifth and final step is we will send the email. So we are going to replicate the same in n8n. So let us begin. So the very first thing that you have to do is you have to add the first step. And when you click on it, you will see multiple things over here. So what you have to do, you have to select the on a schedule because we want the email to be generated at a fixed time. So I'll click on it and then trigger interval will remain days. Days between triggers will remain 1. Trigger at hour, so I'll select at 8 a.m. That is mostly when I check the news, and minute will remain 0. And then let's click on the execute step. Once you click the execute step, you will be able to see this row being generated with the timestamp. Let's close this. And then let's come to the next step. So what is the next step? Next step is that we have to get the news sources. Yeah. So I mostly go to TechCrunch or theverge.com to get these AI news. So I'll add those sources over here. So I'll click on the plus sign and then I'll go to data transformation. After clicking on data transformation, you will see some more items. So I'll click on edit fields, which is for modifying, adding or removing item fields because I want to add those fields. So I'll click on this. Now I will click on add field. In the name, I will write source. And now because I'm going to give more than one field, I'm going to select the array instead of string. And let's type in value and let me maximize it. And here I am supposed to give the RSS feeds of those websites. So the TechCrunch feed is this and the verge.com's website's feed is this. So you don't have to give the URL of the website. You have to give the URL to the RSS feed. And we will convert it into array. We'll use the square bracket and each item will be in the quotation. Okay, perfect. Now I'll close this and then let's execute the step. So executing the step is not mandatory, but it is very beneficial because it will tell you whether you have created the particular step correctly or not. So I'll click on it and you will be able to see the source, and then there are two elements, techcrunch.com feed and theverge.com RSS feed. I'll close this now. Now in the second step, I have to do one more thing because this particular field is an array, and to get the news, we have to basically iterate through each and every element. So I'll split out all the elements in this particular field. So I'll click on plus, I'll click on data transformation again, and then I'll click on split out. And I want to split out the source field, so I'll drag it from there and then I will execute the step. And you can see that both the elements have been split out. I'll close this. Now our second step is complete. Now let's move on to the third step, which is read the news content. So to read the news content, we'll click on plus again and we will search for something called RSS read because these two URLs are pointing to RSS feeds. I'll click on it. And then source is the field that I want to read from. So I'll pull the source and then it is appearing like this, which is completely okay. And then I'll execute the step. And then you can see that it has pulled 30 items from those two feeds. It means it is working properly. So now I'll close this one. Now we have to do one more thing, which is aggregating all the news items. So to do that, I'll click on plus again. I'll go to data transformation one more time, and this time I will click on aggregate. Now you can see that there are multiple fields that are being pulled here for a particular news item: creator, title, link, publication date and all. What we are interested in is content field. So I'll pull this one over here, and then I'll execute the step. Now you can see that all the news items, all the 30 news items have been aggregated in the content field. I'll close this one again. Perfect. Now we are done with the third step as well. Now we are at the fourth step where we have to run the LLM model. So I'll go back to this, and then I'll click on plus sign. This time I will select AI. In AI, I will select AI agent. So it is asking for the prompt. So I'll add the prompt over here. I'll click on define below. Now I already have the prompt ready. So I'll paste it over here. And I can maximize it. So here I am asking to pick exactly 5 AI news stories from last 24 hours that could realistically affect everyday life. And there are some of the rules that you have to prioritize practical impact over hype, prefer trustworthy sources, avoid rumors and clickbaits. If 2 stories are similar, keep only the more important one. And for each of the 5 stories, output should be in this format: title, 3 bullet summary, and why this matters in 1 sentence. And then I have to add one more thing. I have to tell the AI agent that it can pick the news items from the JSON content, and I'll pull it from here. So it looks like this. Pick the news from here, and then I'll execute the step. So it is giving an error: a chat model subnode must be connected and enabled. So we forgot to add the chat model. We will do that right now. I'll click on plus, and then you can see all the chat models available over here. You can pick any chat model of your choice. I am using OpenAI for this demo purpose. So I'll click on OpenAI chat model, and it asks for credentials. So because I have already added the credentials, but when you do it for the first time, click on create new credentials. So this will give you a pop-up window like this. And to get the OpenAI API key, you have to go to platform.openai.com. And please note that this is different from chatgpt.com. This platform provides you the APIs. And even before using this API, you basically have to add some money to it. So click on the settings, and then you will see the billing. Here I have already added $4.98. So you have to add some credit balance. You can add your credit card or something. Once you add that, then go to API keys. I have already created one API key, but to create a new secret key, you can just click here, and then you can give it some optional name. You can keep the default project, and then you can click on create secret key. Once you do that, you will be able to get a new API key. Since I am already having it and I have already added it, I don't need to do it again. I can just select this OpenAI account too, and then you can also select the model. I will keep it as GPT-5 mini only. Now let's execute this agent again. Now you can see the top 5 AI news over here. One thing I forgot, that I also need to add the system prompt. So I'll click on add option, and then I'll click on system message. You are an AI news publisher writing for busy non-technical readers. Write each story in plain English, no jargon, be concise and readable. Now I'll execute this step again. Probably it will improve the answer a little bit more. Yep, so top 5 AI news stories are ready for you. Now we'll close this. Now we are done with the 4th step as well. Now we just have to complete it with the 5th step. So I'll go back to the canvas. Now if you look at the output, this is kind of markdown. So I have to convert it into HTML. And to convert that, I will click on plus again, and I will try to find out markdown. Convert data between markdown and HTML. I'll click on it. And then I have to convert it from markdown to HTML. So I'll click on it. And the field that I want to put in markdown is the output. Destination key will remain as data, and then you can execute the step. And you can see the output was kind of markdown and data is kind of HTML. I'll close this. Now the final step, we have to send this HTML in the email. So I'll click on plus again. I'm using Gmail. So I'll click on Gmail. I'll click send a message. So I've already added my Gmail over here, but when you are doing it for the first time, you have to click on this drop down and click on create new credential. Now when you click on it, all you have to do is sign in with the Gmail ID and password and give it a permission to send the email. That is it. And then close it. And after that, you have to provide your email ID. I am going to provide my email ID. And then subject. I'll write subject as top 5 AI news of the day. Message will be the data. And then I'll execute the step. So this has executed the step. So it will not show the email over here. It will just say that the message has been sent successfully. So I'll go to my email ID. And you can see that I have received the top 5 AI news of the day. Now just for revision purpose, so first of all we created this schedule, which was our first step, deciding the schedule. Then second was get the news sources, where we created these two steps, added fields, where we actually added those two sources and then we split them out. Number 3 was reading the news content. That is where we added this RSS read step and also aggregated all the news. Fourth step was to run the LLM model, where we actually created this AI agent and added this OpenAI chat model to it. And because the output was in Markdown, so we also converted this Markdown into HTML. Now in the last step, to send the email, we used our Gmail account. So as I said in the starting, creating a workflow in n8n is as simple as writing the steps in plain English. So many congratulations, you have created your very first AI agent in n8n. Thank you so much.